Hey y'all, I want to talk to you a little bit today about Carolina rig fishing. I'm a South Carolina boy, so we do use it, but it's not only good in the Carolinas, it's kind of just where it got its name, but it's good all over the country. It's kind of walk you through the setup that I use, the kind of places that I use it, throw it on. There's a lot of different ways to use a Carolina rig. I mean, today it's developed into a whole total different thing, but my basic setup is you want to use a pretty stiff, light setup. So I'm using a Quantum, the Tour MG reel. It's a 7-to-1 gear ratio. It's on a 7.4 Quantum PT Tour rod. It's a heavy action, but still got a little tip. Throwing a Carolina rig, that's the main thing. You still want it to be stiff to have some backbone, but you want to have a little tip because that helps you to cast and make long casts with it. But basically I use 15 to 20 pound fluorocarbon. My general rule is about a 2.5 to 3 foot leader to start off with. A ½ ounce weight is a good place to start. ½ ounce weight, it comes through rock well, it comes through offshore structure well, it gets to the bottom, keeps bottom contact, but it's also good in grass. If you use too light a weight in a grass lake, your weight wants to rise up. Instead, if you use a little heavier weight, it'll cut through. Sometimes I even go to a 3/4 or 1 ounce on grass lakes, but my basic setup, ½ ounce weight, 2.5 to 3 foot leader, whatever bait. My favorite go-to bait is just a straight plastic worm, green pumpkin always. That's always a good place to start. But there's a lot of different ways to throw a Carolina rig, a lot of different places. Grass lakes, Carolina rig's good when it's get off on the points, the outside edges. Scattered grass, got shell mixed in, it's a great Carolina rig place. Offshore fishing, Carolina rig's slow. Nobody likes to fish slow. So it's a tool to me. You get a school fired up on a crankbait or a football jig or, a big flutter spoon. You're catching them, they stop. You can't get a bite. You pick up a Carolina rig, throw it out there to catch you a few more fish. Big fish, a lot of people don't realize big fish will still hit a Carolina rig. There's only a few guys that even still fish on tour and throw it a lot, but it does work, and it's a tool. It may not be the thing that you start out with and go out there and catch your whole tournament bag on, but it'll be a tool throughout the day. You may pick you up a few scattered fish after the school slows down. Other ways to do it. I've talked about the swivel, ½ ounce weight, 3.5 foot leader. Other ways people use it nowadays is it's kind of become real popular, especially on deep clear water lakes, smallmouth, spotted bass, using light line, spinning rod, 8-pound test, and they'll actually use a split shot with the finesse type worms. They may only do like a 12 to 18 inch deal, but they'll use a small split shot with a really small bait, and it gets that real slow fall, kind of like a shaky head, but you don't have the weight. That worm's back there gliding, and once it hits the bottom, that worm still kind of rises up. And that's killer on smallmouth and spotted bass. Plus the clear water, that slow fall, it'll get you a lot more bites than getting a 1 ounce weight down and dredging on the bottom. So that's just kind of the different ways to use it. It is a tool, like I said. It's not something I'm going to start my tournament out trying to find fish or locate fish or catch my whole tournament bag, but it is a tool to keep in your back pocket. It'll pick you up a few more fish once the school dies down. This is a perfect setup, really. Everybody wants to get up there and punch those mats. But that point right there, grass point, it's actually pretty shallow. So you got deep water here, point of grass comes out, all that's up there flat. So, when your fish want to back off and get in a little deeper water, they'll pull out to this point. Close to deep water, scattered grass, got a little hard bottom mixed in. It's a perfect setup for a Carolina rig. This would be the type of thing I would do, say early in the morning I'm catching them on a frog on that matted grass. Midday the bite stops, fish just pull out here towards deeper water and getting that scattered stuff. That would be a place I would use this tool.